Today I'm going to be talking about the wonderful world of maps. Maps, maps, maps. As you can see here, there's all different kinds of maps ranging from the whole world to individual countries like the United States and Africa, India, the state level. Here's a road map and physical map of Ohio, and then even a county map that's very general, Geauga County. There's three main types of maps that we will look at today, and the objective here is to give you a little bit of information on each of these different kinds and give you some examples of what they look like and how to use them. One is called a physical map, which shows what the actual area or region looks like physically. Elevation, that means how high or how low the ground is. Mountains, hills are higher elevation, and the plateaus and the areas that are below sea level, those are low elevation. A physical map will show where mountains are located, where water like lakes and oceans, rivers are located. Political map's a little different. It's not really concerned about what the physical look of the land is, but it's more about what the political borders are. Things like where continents are, countries, states, cities. And the third one is very general. It's called Special Purpose Map. This is basically all the other maps. There's tons of these special purpose maps out there. And a special purpose map is one that shows certain kinds of information or data. Could be a population map, culture, religion, language map. First one is a physical map. And on a physical map, as you can see here, usually these colors are pretty standard. Your greens, browns, yellows. For things that are hilly, or mountainy, those are going to be closer towards the brown. This legend that you see in the middle that ranges from 1,000 meters below sea level in the blue all the way up to 4,000 meters above sea level in that grayish color. This is all showing the elevation of the land, how high it is or how low it is. And just by looking at it, you can tell where the hills and mountains are located, where are the plateaus and the valleys in that region. The one on the left is a map of Africa. The one on the top right is North Carolina, and the bottom right is the state of Washington. So the purpose of a physical map is to show where rivers and oceans, lakes are located, as well as showing you the elevation of the land, to show you what it physically looks like. And they're easy to spot because you usually don't always see cities and countries breaking down by their labels and names, but it's more so that greenish, bluish colors with rivers and lakes shown throughout the map. Political maps are different. They're not as concerned about what an area looks like physically, but they're looking at how political boundaries have been set. That could be things like countries, states, counties, cities. And one thing you maybe didn't notice is that these are the exact three same locations as the previous map, or the previous slide. I had a map of Africa, the physical map, and this is now the political map of Africa that shows all the different countries from Ethiopia to Chad, Algeria. And then on the top right is North Carolina. These are broken into counties, shows all the different counties of North Carolina. There could also be a political map of North Carolina that would show the cities and the capital. And then in the bottom right is a map of the state of Washington again. To compare, here's physical maps of Africa, North Carolina, and Washington. Here are political maps of the three, where they focus on political boundaries, counties and cities and countries. Now the big one, special purpose maps. If you think about what that means, it's saying that it has a specific or special purpose to the map. Now, physical and political also have a purpose, but this special purpose map just refers to all the other kinds of maps that are out there. Here's an example of a special purpose map that shows gun ownership. If I look to my legend on the bottom left, it shows me what the different colors symbolize, and the dark brown shows that that would be greater than 75 guns per 100 people. And then all the way down to that greenish color is 0 to 10 guns per 100 people. So the purpose of this map was to collect data and display it on a world map to show, just by looking at the colors and the symbols, how many guns per 100 people are owned per country. Here's a very popular kind of special purpose map. It's called population density map. It's a population map that shows how many people are in a certain area. And usually there's going to be a scale that or legend that tells you what each of the colors represent in terms of this many number of people per square mile. But almost always a population density map is pretty standard in that the red is going to symbolize a very high amount of population density, which means a lot of people in a smaller amount of space. And then the darker the green you get, that's the least amount of people in a large amount of space. So it's not just about the number of people, it's about how many people are in a small specific area. And just by looking at a population density map, you should be able to spot approximately where the major cities are located. Right in the bottom right and on the west coast and even in the top northwest part, you can see where the higher populated cities are because there's lots of people in a smaller amount of area. Compare the dark green, which is very rural, which means there's not that many people per square mile there. Another very common kind of map is a climate map. And a climate map shows some kind of a weather or temperature, rainfall, something in the category of climate. This one is just about annual maximum temperature in the United States. You can use the legend up top to identify where different parts of the country are warmer temperature or colder in temperature. You can see that we are the very top right part of Ohio. We're in that gray section, which means that our annual average maximum temperature is somewhere in between 50 and 60 degrees. Here is a special purpose map that shows childhood obesity rate by state. You can use the scale, the legend at the bottom to tell you what each of these different colors represent. Here's a map of Ohio that shows which counties are primarily Democratic versus Republican. Here is a special purpose map that shows the different religions in Asia. What is the primary religion for different parts of this continent of Asia? And you can use the legend below to show what each of those religions are symbolized by what color. So a place like India, where we studied the Indus Valley, if you look carefully, you should be able to identify what is the primary religion that they have in Asia, which is Hinduism. Here's another special purpose map that shows the amount of minimum wage per state. The ones that are higher than the minimum wage are in that dark blue, and the ones that have no minimum wage or lower are symbolized based on the legend or the key that is listed up there. Here's Ohio, and you can see that we have a higher than federal minimum wage according to this map. And the last one is a map about pop versus soda, and we'll go over that one later. It's a pretty neat map. If you want to go to it now, you can just go to popversussoda.com and you can get a look at a special purpose map that shows the difference between the amount of people around the country that call it pop, that call it soda, even that call it Coke. That there's